I swear there's no other video that's going to help you out as much as this video will when it comes to killing your current self, as in your bad habits, bad finances, bad relationships, and getting away from your current environment. The first thing that genuinely helped me out the most with everything was creating an alter ego for myself. My real name is Issa, but in school, my parents registered me as the name Sarush. And during grade 9 through 11, that was probably the worst period of my life. I'll spare the details of what I was up to and how the environment around me was, but just know it was no good. And what helped especially a lot was getting my first job, which was sales. And in that job, I was only referred to as Issa, because that's my legal name. So no one referred to me as Sarush. And the reason this helped me out so much was because I was able to switch between the two names, or between who I was. Essentially, Sarush was the person who I was at home, or the person who had all these bad habits, who was hanging around bad people, etc. And then Issa was the person I was at work, who was fully focused on just making as much money as possible, as well as becoming the best version of myself. So luckily, I actually had two names, but chances are you probably don't have two names. So if you want to go about this, I would say just give yourself a different version of yourself. So when you know you need to do something, but you don't feel like doing it, you would just switch to this other person. And a small tip is also change some things about your physical appearance. I remember at the time, I started wearing these glasses as well as this watch. So instantly there was just a few differences in my physical appearance. And also, if you've been watching me for a while now, you know this is not like my normal hair. I just recently buzzed it off. This is another thing that you could also do. Essentially, Issa would never skip work, never do bad things, never hang around bad people, etc. And the reason that viewing yourself as someone fully different helps is because you view yourself as someone who already just naturally does these things or naturally doesn't do things. You're not the same person who is trying to get away from these things, if that makes sense. There's no concept of needing to do something or needing to add something. It's just a part of you. Say you want to quit something, say weed or video games, whatever. Instead of being like, I don't play video games anymore, now you're in a mental frame of just, I don't play video games. View yourself as something you are currently in the moment, not something you want to be. So first thing I'd like you to do is just grab a notebook and just write down a list of what this new version of yourself is like. The things he does, the things he stays away from, and the things he strives for, which we'll talk about in like 2 seconds. And whenever you feel like relapsing or doing something you shouldn't, or even just taking a break from the thing that you know you should be doing, just look at this list, or you might not even need to look at it. You'll just know it instinctively, and you will just be 75% more likely to actually start striving to become the better version of yourself. You'll look at this piece of paper and you'll be reminded that there is another version of you out there where you genuinely are like this. So please just have some hope for yourself. And if you just stick to yourself to this for the next 3 months, you will see incredible change. And by the way, if you made it to this point of the video, even though it's not even that far into the video, I already know that you're going to be able to do this, because you're not just watching this for dopamine or to make yourself feel better. You genuinely care about making some change. And with changing yourself, you also want to set some goals for yourself, because goals are essentially a map. And without the map or the goals, you won't know where you want to go. And also attach a meaning to the goals that you do set for yourself. Give them a reason as to why you want to hit them, because what has meaning holds more importance. So this will just make you work harder as well as focus more, and will also increase your chances of sticking to it for the long term. One thing that really helps me out with my goals is making sure that they're measurable. Like money in your bank account is measurable because those are numbers, or hitting a new PR in the gym is measurable because, I guess, again, they're numbers. One thing that helps out a lot too is, instead of writing down what you want to get, write down tasks to do that will get you to that point. Write about the journey essentially over the destination, because this you have a lot more control over. It's a lot easier to say, set a goal of, I'm gonna cold email 100 people, as opposed to I'm gonna get this many people to buy. You have more control over your inputs over other people's actions and what they do, or the results that you get. I also have some non-measurable things every now and then, like creating a better work environment for everyone around me, or making customers more happy, or having a better physique, etc. But even with things like that, you can still see and feel the difference as the time goes on. Also set dates for accomplishing these goals. And something that really did help me out with actually hitting my goals was kind of making them selfish, because as humans, naturally, we're going to be selfish. So be honest as to why you want certain things or why you want to achieve certain things. Of course, family is always an amazing motivator, but sometimes for me, what motivates me more is wanting to become more powerful, wanting to have more money in the bank just for myself, or wanting to just be viewed as needed in certain areas of my life. Sometimes that pushes me more, and sometimes that can push you more as well. So what I'd like you to do is just grab any notebook or notepad and just start writing down some goals for yourself, and then start giving them some reasons as to why you want to hit it. So that way you could just be more motivated, as well as give times for accomplishing these things. And one thing is too, if you don't hit these goals within that certain time period, don't be hard on yourself. It's okay that you didn't hit it. The only thing that does matter is that you genuinely tried to get close to hitting that goal. Because the thing is, you're not going to become the best person in the world just by writing down some things. This is going to take some time to be able to actually get down. So the goal isn't just to do it once, not reach it and then give up. The goal is to do it, maybe fail, and then keep on going. And as you keep on going, the scale or whatever is just going to be going like this. Also, if you're enjoying the video so far, if you could please subscribe, that would literally mean the world to me. Thank you. And the next thing that really did help me like unscrew up my life is a bit harder to do depending on where you are at life, but there's a smaller version of this too. Essentially, it's by changing your environment. If you can move or change locations, do it. One of the biggest changes in my life came after we moved out of the small apartment into a nicer home, as well as a nicer community. It was at this time where I started my business, and to be honest, I don't think I could have started it. And this came from me just working hard and stacking cash from my sales job and my family working. And something smaller that led up to this was just dropping my friends. Because the people you spend the most time around is who you're gonna turn out like, as we all know. And this was around the end of me working sales. I dropped everyone around me, and the only person I really had in my life was my mentor, who was the owner of the sales place I was working at. Essentially, at the end, I asked him if he could be my mentor, and he was like, yes, of course. So I really only had him, and then I think one other friend at the time. So my social contact just went way down, but the social contact that I did have, the quality of it was way up. And by this time, I started going to business seminars and just being around higher level people, essentially. And this really opened up my eyes, and it really let me see another level of success. Like, damn, this is actually achievable. All these other people around me, they're just like me, they're all human. They all started from nothing, and they all grew it to something. And my honest recommendation for cutting out your friends is to just let them start every single interaction. And then whenever you're asked to go out, just say, I can't, I'm busy with work. And then eventually they're gonna start talking to you less and less and asking you out less and less. And then eventually you guys are just not gonna be friends anymore, and it's not gonna end on bad terms or on bad blood. It's just gonna be like, okay, he has to do this, whatever, I'm just gonna keep on going with my life. And if you don't have any mentors in your life or people to learn from, that's okay. The next best thing you could be doing is honestly watching videos like this, reading books, listening to educational podcasts, etc. Just filling your mind up with the right information. And so this is essentially what took me from at one point having literally no money in my bank account, being out with my friends, not being able to buy any food, to 1 year later being a fairly successful person in sales, to another year later starting my business and being profitable, to another year later to now having a much more successful business and having a good circle of friends around me. And this all came from me essentially giving myself an alter ego and then changing myself, to then giving that same self new goals to hit, and then removing the bad friends around me and changing my environment. And hopefully this helps you out as much as it helped me out from the past 4 years to now. Also, if you don't have that many like-minded people around you, I would recommend joining our free community where there's me, everyone else around, where we're all talking, we're all hanging out, we're all having calls every now and then, just finding out how we can level ourselves up and become better and make more money, etc. As well as that, if you want mentorship and you want someone to help you out with business, I would recommend clicking the first link in the description where I will personally help you. And also, if you want these in written form, because there's always more gems whenever you're reading, sign up for the newsletter that's also in the description. So with everything being said, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye-bye.